Okay, guys, I think this is a video that you might want to pay attention to, and you might want to get it to your friends and family, especially if you're on the East Coast of the United States. We have a situation where all of the computer models are predicting a CAT6 to CAT7 category hurricane, those type of winds and damage, okay? As you can see, the chart on the right are all of the computer models, and as you go up the levels here, you got Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 3, Cat 4, Cat 5. Cat 5 is this red line right here. You'll notice all but 2 of the computer models have this hurricane at above a Cat 5, have it up into Cat 6, Cat 7 territory, which has never ever had a need for before, apparently. As it enters into the 240 to 264 hour range, that puts it around the South Carolina and North Carolina coast, right in here. Let me show you. Okay, so here's the computer models for where this thing is tracking to. And at about the 240 hour, 264 hour area, puts it around the South Carolina, North Carolina range, right in here. And that's when they're saying that it's going to be above a Cat 5. Cat 5 is the highest category in the categories for a hurricane. And there is no such thing, or at least in the past, there's never been a such thing as a Cat 6 or a Cat 7. Yet, if you look at this scale, from a wind speed standpoint, it puts it into what would be, if you lined it up the way the chart says, it would be a Cat 6, Cat 7 hurricane. They're predicting the highest winds, basically, ever for a hurricane to make landfall. So if you're on the East Coast from Florida to New York City, I think I'd be paying extreme close attention to this hurricane. Here's your hurricane category chart. Typically, like the hurricane we had come through the Myrtle Beach area last year was a category 3 when it came in. We, although seen sustained winds at around 100 miles an hour, and I was actually there to witness it beachfront, as a matter of fact. Took a little footage even that I put on my channel about October of last year. You could go back and look at it if you wanted to, what 100 mile an hour looks like. But these winds in this hurricane, according to all the models, this ain't my information. This is their information, and it is closing in on 200 mile an hour winds. Something we have never seen before. I've got something else pretty interesting I want to show you. Some of you will find quite interesting about this hurricane and its name. Now I'm going to show you something here that some of you are familiar with, some of you are not. And if you're not familiar with what I'm getting ready to show you, your knee-jerk reaction because of your lack of information about this subject is going to be that you're not going to understand, which is understandable. You're not going to understand what I'm getting ready to show you, so you won't be comfortable with it. It won't make sense to you. You may even say, oh, that's bull crap. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you using a gematria calculator. Gematria is a mathematical system that all languages were almost all languages were created off of when English was created. They used math in order to design the languages, which, for those of us that understand how important math is and everything, makes sense. But they used gematria to create it, and you can use this calculator to see things. Particularly, it will show you, for instance, if I run a search on Hurricane Irma, it will show you things that terms or words that are tied to Hurricane Irma. Like if they wanted to send a message to you, or if there was a message involved, if you typed in Hurricane Irma, you could probably see the message or get close to it. So now let's run a search on Hurricane Irma and see if there's just understanding that you're talking a millions to one match. If anything that comes up, it's like hitting the lottery if it's anything that makes sense in any way, shape, or form. So let's run the search on Hurricane Irma and see what we get. Donald Trump is an exact match for Hurricane Irma. That's a mathematical millions to one match due to the fact that you have to match 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 numbers have to actually match. In Powerball, you only have to match 5 and then 1 Powerball. So mathematical odds of matching this are more extreme than winning Powerball. Another interesting match I think you'll find interesting is this. George H.W. Bush. Now you may say, well, why in the world, how, or why would these names of these presidents, current and past, match the name of this hurricane? Well, one, they could just want to have fun and match the names. Or it may be a signal of something, you might say. Okay? A couple of other matches that might give you a little bit more information. It typically tells you a little story if you look at enough of the matches. Is Master Mason. If you're not aware of what a Master Mason is, I probably don't have time to tell you and explain to you what that is. Hadron Collider is another match. Now, Hadron Collider, some of you have at least somewhat of an idea what that is, but how it ties into and plays into the fact that we've got a hurricane named the same numbers basically as Hadron Collider and named the same as these presidents. You can speculate as to what that means, but I'll just leave that to you to think what you think it means. Adam, if you don't understand what all that means or wouldn't want to speculate, coming back to the real meaning and the purpose of this video is to make you aware of that we have a historic potential for this hurricane, at least from what they're saying. I'm not making a conspiracy theory out of this. It's what they're saying, that we're looking at what you could call a Category 6, Category 7 hurricane coming onto the east coast of the United States. And it is their computer models that are stating this. So I'll leave you with that. Make sure to spread this video to your friends on the East Coast so they're aware of that. This is not a normal hurricane potentially that is coming. They need to pay close attention. It is, as it approaches the East Coast, it's going to stay down around a 4 or a 5 and then shoot up right as it approaches the coast across the Gulf Stream and turn into what we would call a 6 or a 7 from a wind speed standpoint. So keep that in mind. Please spread this video. Inform as many people as possible. Click on share. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. And you'll get more of Logic Before Authority.